Hey guys, how are you doing? So as you can see, this is going to be a different kind of video today. In our last video, we had a request from one of our subscribers to do a video on different leather textures with Dooney and Burke. So that's what I'm going to do here today, which is why I have the camera facing away from myself, because I thought it would be a lot easier to show the textures if I did it in an up-close version like this. Excuse me. So here's what I've got. I have several textures here. I had to borrow two of my stepdaughter's bags to be able to do this because I don't have all of the textures for myself, but I do have several. So I'm going to start with the one that I'm carrying right now, which is this Alto Camilla, and she has both got the typical Alto leather and suede, so it's kind of a two-in-one here. I do have a bag that is strictly Alto leather, but I thought I would just use this one since it has both. And I don't have any other bags with suede. So here's the Alto leather, and a lot of you ask questions about does it scratch easily? And I would say yes and no. On my Alto Fina, I do have some scratches on the front and it's black. On this one, I don't really see anything. But the Alto leather, I mean, you can see some right here. The Alto on this bag is on the sides, so it doesn't get as much handling as what it would on one that had the Alto leather all the way around. This one does have it on the bottom too. So I'll go over the suede portion. You can see there's a stain there. I'll go over that here in just a minute. But I wanted to show you the Alto leather first. And excuse me if things are falling out. So this leather is very, very smooth. If you can hear, it makes kind of a squeaking sound, kind of like a pair of boots would. This is going to be a very sound and touch satisfying video, I think. So it is very, very smooth. It kind of has I don't know how to describe it other than it just feels like a pair of boots. And it's pretty thick. Here you can see the thickness. Please excuse my stuff inside. I wouldn't say necessarily that it feels luxurious. I wouldn't say necessarily that it is worth, as far as how it feels, I wouldn't say it's worth the price tag they have on this leather. Because when you pay $600 and $700 for something, you expect it to feel like luxury, but I wouldn't say this does. It's nice, it's thick, but as far as for someone like me who is a tactile person, I wouldn't say this has a very luxurious feel to it. It's just very slick, and there's no texture, there's no nothing. As far as scratching on this, like I said, there's not a whole lot going on here because it's on the sides, it doesn't get much use. The bottom, I don't really see a lot of scratching either, but I try not to set my bags down on very many surfaces unless it's like a chair or something like that. I try not to set them on the floor. So let's compare this with the Florentine leather because that's the one it's the most similar to. Here is my smoothest Florentine bag. I only have a couple Florentines and they all have some texture, but this is the smoothest one. It's a navy micro satchel, and it does have sort of the same smoothness. You can hear the noise it makes. It doesn't have the squeak that the Alto leather has, and it is got a thicker feeling and I would say more pliable. This will soften with time, whereas my Alto leather has not really softened. So you can see that there are scratches in this. I would say Alto is probably more durable than Florentine as far as the scratching goes. I know that there's some sheen from my light here, but that does actually kind of highlight the scratches for you guys to see. Now this doesn't bother me, and when you're out in the daylight without a camera light shining onto it, you can't really tell that the scratches are there as much. But comparing this leather to the Alto leather, you can see a clear difference in that the Alto leather is definitely more smooth. It has a sheen to it more so, and almost a glassy look in comparison with the Florentine. Florentine definitely still has some texture, even though it is a smooth leather. And even if you get the smoothest Florentine there is, you can still see some tiny itty bitty graining in it. I hope you can see what I'm seeing here. Itty bitty teeny tiny graining when it's all close up like that. And far away it doesn't really look that way. Now when you take the Alto leather really close up, I mean, you get some wrinkles from where it's curved, but I'm not seeing the graining that I'm seeing in this. So that's the difference there between the Alto and the Florentine. So now let's talk about, before I put this bag away, let's talk about the suede. I'll turn it around so that the poof is not in our way. The suede on this bag overall has been fairly durable. I'm not gentle with my bags, as most of you know, and the camera light is making this look more faded and more orangey than it is in real life. In real life, it's closer to this color here. So this top half of the bag hasn't really suffered any damage necessarily. Come on, camera focus. There we go. So you can see the texture of the suede. Run some fingernails on here for you. If you do, you know, get something, scratch it like this, it will show in the suede, but just do this and it buffs right out unless it's a deep scratch. It's kind of like when you were a kid and you played in the carpet, drawing shapes and your name through the carpet fibers. It kind of works like that. So this is the texture up close of the suede. Now on the bottoms of the bag where it sits down, so because this bag has no feet when it sits, it kind of mushes in at the bottom a little bit, and the edge of the suede is actually what comes in contact with the surface. So you can see here it has rubbed off some right there. There's some damage to the suede. That's really the only place on this side. Let's turn it over. Ooh, sorry about that. And you can see little spots of damage to the suede here, 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 you know, all those little white areas. That's just fuzz there, but there's several speckled areas you can see here where it has come in contact with the surface too many times and rubbed the suede off. So I would not recommend a suede bag that does not have feet or that is fully suede on the bottom, because this is what you're going to have. This bag is only a couple years old and I haven't even used it that much. Now, it's still a beautiful bag when you're carrying it. When it's like this, you can't see that because that is on the bottom of the bag, and I don't really care. Nobody's going to be staring at the bottom of my bag. But as far as the way the suede feels, again, I have felt lots of suede. I wouldn't call this $600 suede. I wouldn't say it feels luxurious like the price tag says it should. It is nice, but I really don't think it measures up to what they charge for it. So, that is the Dooney suede. Now, let's move this out of the way. The next one I've got is a Pebble leather. This is a Bitsy bag, the mini version of the Zip Zip, and this is the classic pebbled leather that everyone is used to. I don't have any Pebble leather bags myself currently, so I did borrow this from my stepdaughter's collection. So as you can see, before I even get close up, this leather is heavily pebbled, lots and lots of texture. In comparing it with the Florentine, like I said, you can see some graining in the Florentine, but you have to get really close. This is super obvious over here. So, this is an extremely durable leather. You can beat the crap out of it and you're not going to really notice anything. As far as how it feels, if you watch how it just kind of mushes as I push my thumb along, I mean, it's a very pliable leather, very soft. This kind of has like a silky feel, this particular bag. This is what it sounds like. But my thumb just glides right over, and I'm pushing really hard so that you can see the crinkle and the way it mushes. I mean, it feels really nice. Honestly, the leather on this bag feels like it's worth more than the leather on the Alto bag. That's just my opinion, because this is thicker, it's more supple, it gets better with age, softer, more broken in, as you can see. So let's take a look at the grains up close. So you can see they're really excuse me, thick pebbles. Now the only thing I have noticed with the Pebble leather bag is because these grains are so deep, when it gets dirty, the dirt kind of goes down into the crevices, and so when you clean it, you have to pay attention to that. This one isn't dirty, but I have had them before that I've had to clean out, like, you know, really scrub good in between these pebbles to get some of the dirt out, depending on what it is. Now, this bag does have feet on the bottom, but, you know, even when it's sitting down, the edges will still touch the ground, and you can see that there's no wear here at all, except maybe this itty bitty teeny tiny little spot right there, whatever that is. But this bag was used when we purchased it for Audrey, so, and she's used it a few times, and it's not showing any wear, really. This is just a really durable leather, and when you get it out in the rain, it just rolls right off. You don't have to worry about anything except maybe this vachetta here. You want to treat this with something because it will get water spots, and as you can see, the vachetta does get worn right there. You can see it will dry, it will crack, it will rub, that kind of stuff. But as far as the pebbled part, you got nothing to worry about with this baby. Alright, moving on, we are going to look at the last leather that I have access to here. Actually, it's not even leather, honestly. It is a Dooney bag texture, but it isn't leather, but it is a texture that they offer. Now, this is an older one, so some of the newer ones are different, but I had access to this, so I thought I'd go ahead and show it to you anyway. This is a coated canvas, coated cotton situation. I used to have Saffiano leather, but I do not anymore, so that is a texture I cannot offer to show you today. But this is a coated cotton of sorts. It's got a very noisy texture to it. It is also very squishy, very soft, obviously because it's fabric. It is very waterproof as well. It has the black vachetta leather trim, so that, you know, if you do get caught in the rain, it's not going to be as big of a deal. But let's take a look at this texture. Now, they're not all like this, like I said, because this is an older one. But this has got a ribbed texture to it. So it does have a sheen, as you can see with my light hitting off of it, but it's not going to be blinding in your face because it's got some texture to absorb that. So give you a look back here. It's a fun little bag. Anyway, what is it? Saffiano leather, sorry about that, is very similar to this coated canvas, in which it has these lines and stuff in it, except the Saffiano has also lines going the other direction, kind of like a crosshatch type situation. So anyway, but it's very similar to this texture. So sorry about that, not having any Saffiano, but I wanted to show you this fabric texture because I did have it, so yeah. So in comparison to the Pebble, the two water-resistant bags, you can see they both have deep crevices, but they're a totally different kind. Alright, so that is all the leather textures that I have and bag textures that I have to offer you today. I hope this was helpful to know if something is for you or not. They're all wonderful in their own way, and you know, it's just going to depend on your lifestyle and what is right for you. If you are the type of person that needs something very durable, and weatherproof and you're not careful with your bags in any sort of way, then definitely stick with the coated canvas, Saffiano leather, or the pebbled leather. And if you are more careful and you can maintain something that's a little more high maintenance, then I'd say either one of these, the Florentine, the Alto, or the Suede, is going to be okay for you. But if you're me, you don't really care, you're not careful with any of your bags, well, yeah, sort of careful, and you have them to use. That's what they're purchased for. And so if they get wear, they get wear. Just buy what you love, buy what you think is beautiful, and what you are actually going to use. So again, I hope that was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions regarding any of these textures or any of the bags specifically, please leave them in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!